Kyle Matrician here with Terrier Vision, joined by new volleyball coach Lynze Roos for the first time here in 2015. Coach Roos, thanks for taking some time today and joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you just started at the beginning of July, 1 month into the job. Let's just keep it simple here at first. How's life transitioning into Spartanburg? I know you're married, you have 2 children. Just, how's everybody adjusting?
It's been a great time. Yeah, Spartanburg is a great city, and that's part of the reason we chose to come to Wofford, is that we really fell in love with it. And so the kids kind of think this is an amazing vacation for them right now. They'll start school shortly in the next 2 weeks. But we've had a great time going to pretty much every park, caught a fish at Conf State Park. We've done probably everything that you could possibly do with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old so far.
So you come to Wofford after 9 seasons at Lynn University. You got to Lynn and really took a program from nothing to the NCAA Division II Tournament. And you come to Wofford in, I don't want to say exactly the same situation, but maybe a similar situation with a volleyball program that seems like it's always on the brink of reaching success, but not quite being able to get there. Do you feel the same way, and how do you plan to take Wofford and bring them to that next level?
I think the situations are eerily similar. I think that the program at Lynn was one that the former athletic director who hired me would say, we added it just to add it, and because we had to. And so there wasn't a whole lot of TLC put into the program. And so when I came on, it was a lot like what I'm going to do here. Spend some time getting to know the girls and the conference, and then figure out how to win it. And so the difference here is there are some really fantastic players here. And so it's not building athletically, it's more just building the culture and getting ready to go out there and really make a statement in the SoCon.
And we'll talk a little bit about your accomplishments at Lynn. 8 winning seasons, 4+ 20-win seasons, multiple trips to the NCAA tournament, wins in the NCAA tournament. What was that like for you, your first collegiate, I believe, head coaching job, to take a program like that and bring it to that level and enjoy that kind of success?
It was great. It was great kids. It was a great environment and a great conference. And I think that's what was unique about it too. In the Sunshine State Conference, you have just tremendous colleagues. And I remember my very first year, the University of Tampa had won the national title. And I thought, when we get them to call a timeout, we're going to be making a move. And lo and behold, 2 years later, we took them to 5 in the NCAA tournament, losing that year, but it was a big deal. And so I think the support of the school made a difference. The alums really rallied behind us, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because that's a league similar to this where it's anybody's game on a Friday night or a Tuesday night or a Thursday night here. So it was more of, going out there, a lot of parity, a lot of the same kind of athletes. The recruiting pool was similar, and it was really about the team that had that chemistry that night.
Now, getting back to where you're coming from a little bit, a lot of people might not know where Lynn University is, down in South Florida. So let's talk about, what might be a major difference, and that is maybe the climate and the weather. Now, here in the summer in upstate South Carolina, it doesn't really cool off. It might actually be hotter here with nowhere to go for relief of the hot weather than you had down in South Florida. But, how's that adjustment been?
I mean, Boca Raton is a great place. You had the trade winds, you had the Gulf Stream, but yeah, it's hot, and so it won't be that bad. I'm from Chicago. My husband's from Indianapolis. My kids might see snow, and they're excited to see leaves change because we talk about fall, but they've never seen it. So I think that it's hot, but there's air conditioning.
And now, not only did you have success on the court at Lynn, but I believe 8 straight AVCA Team Academic Awards. The kids that you had in your program, that you brought into that program, constantly showed that they took their academics seriously. And at Wofford College, obviously, that's something that Wofford student athletes have to take seriously as well. How do you recruit student athletes that are good players and that want to come to play volleyball at a high level, but also find the ones that maybe make the right fit and that they're serious about their studies?
I'm biased. I think all volleyball players are smart, so it tends to just work easily. But at the same time, it's about talking to their coaches and talking to some high school counselors and figuring out, who's the right fit for a school like this. And it was 10 straight AVCA Team Academic Awards. The last was just awarded last year. But I think the girls take pride in it, and if you're naturally kind of a competitor, you get competitive about that too. And so I'm hoping to pass that along to these girls. I mean, they're all very bright girls, and the classes here are challenging. So it's about creating that balance where you know where your priorities are, making sure that you have the structure for them to not feel pulled in any one direction.
Now, before you were at Lynn, you spent 2 seasons as an assistant coach at Sanford just before they made the transition into the Southern Conference. But at the time, they did play a lot of Southern Conference schools, and it made you very familiar with Division I teams in the Southeast region. Now, as a head coach in your first year at a Southern Conference school, how does Wofford, or what is it like to coach in a league like the Southern Conference and the teams?
It's a fun league. I know a lot of the recruits that are coming in, a couple from the area that I was coming from in South Florida. And it's similar in a different way where there's a lot of parity, a lot of great athletes, and they choose this conference because of the academics and because of the reputation. And so I think just seeing and being familiar with some of the campuses, what you're recruiting against, you feel like you're in, fair waters. There's nobody that's way different or way above in resources and facilities and things like that. And so I think it's going to be a fun league to compete in.
And Coach, just a couple years away from a new arena, the Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium, I know that's a big deal to you and a big deal to a lot of people around here. It will house men's and women's basketball, it will house volleyball, and it will be one of the finest arenas at this level. How exciting is that for you coming in as the head coach of a program and knowing that you're going to get that kind of facility within a couple of years?
It's like a kid in a candy store. It's going to be fantastic. And I was kind of tricked a little bit. I shouldn't say tricked. That's not fair. But when I left Sanford, I was able to be in part of the meetings and the design and all that, and left before I got to see it actually built. And so this is what is kind of the continuation of that. When you have a dream sort of arena and you see the pictures and you have an idea of how excited everyone is about it, I think it's going to translate obviously to the girls and to recruits and to the community. I can't wait for it.
And one more get-to-know-you kind of question for people that may not know. You played your volleyball at Butler University, a 2001 graduate. What do you remember about your playing days, and how do you try to relate to the players on that level, obviously having been in that situation yourself?
I think that their 4 years should be the time of their life. You don't get to go back and do it again. And so it's really about the experience. It's about them. And I think sometimes that's missed. And I'm excited that I can look back on my career and I know that I had coaches that really cared about me and my teammates, and about how when we left, having that goal of, I wish I had another year, and having a real positive experience. And so that's what I'm hoping can translate here. And no, I don't play on the court anymore with them. I just tell them what to do. But at the end of the day, I think it's about them and having a lot of pride in Wofford volleyball.
And what do you think this year, your first year at Wofford, first game on the schedule, University of Georgia, and you see names like that all over the schedule. You see Tennessee, just kind of big name schools. What's it going to be like for you? Maybe you'll kind of have to live it first to know. But what do you expect going into those matchups?
These girls are fighters, and I think that it's fun to be kind of the little engine that could. Maybe Wofford has a little bit more name recognition because of the success of our basketball team, but at the same time, let these girls make a name for themselves and put us against some of those teams and let us play, because volleyball is one of those equalizer sports, and you just love to have the opportunity just to match up with somebody. And so I'm excited to see them want to take down a name and play good volleyball.
Coach, you're bringing in 2 new assistants this year in Nick St. Thomas and Cameron Sherman. If you could just tell us a little bit about each coach and how you know them.
Sure. Well, Nick St. Thomas worked for me at Lynn and was slated to be our graduate assistant. And I've worked with him on film. He's great with video. He's great on the court and just a real good, positive energy, and he's competitive. So I'm excited that he's going to be joining us. I think the girls are going to be able to feed off of him. He's a great pins coach and defensive coach, and just excited that he kind of took a leap of faith and came down to Spartanburg and said, I'll stay. And Cameron is an elite player. She had a 3-year career at Clemson, finished her undergraduate degree in 3 years, so she's a highly motivated young lady, and then took her talent down to Armstrong for a year and had their best season, I believe, in program history. So she's a fantastic setter, has just a great coach's mind for the game, and just both of them already in the office, you can tell everybody's excited and ready to go.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it, and best of luck through this season and many seasons to come.